So when it comes to your experiences, you had this ability to track customers who were not even willing to work with you. So how did you sort of do that? And what are some of these things required in terms of the mindset, the ability to be so confident that I can go there and get this customer into my company? How does it work, sir? For SMEs, I think this is very important because normally SMEs are slightly apprehensive about reaching out, going out of the comfort zone, like you've said. But what is this quality? What is this mindset that you have that you know that you don't have the expertise, you know that you don't have the skills, and you say that I'm going to get that customer, and you go there and get it? How does that happen?
So I'll give you one example. When Mindtree started in 1999, we were not in financial services, not in banking. And banking is a big segment, as all of you know, and is very specialized. So it becomes a chicken. Banking, healthcare, they are highly specialized. It becomes a chicken and egg thing. People don't give you business because you don't have previous experience in working in that sector. And because you don't, they don't give you the business, you don't get the domain knowledge. So you don't, you are in a very strange situation. Okay. So we realized that we need to get into banking because we're an internet company at that point in time. And in banking, there are two parts. There is the bank's core operations. And then you have the outer layer where you have the internet enablement. A lot of things have changed since then. So you have to forgive me for giving you what looks like a simplistic example. But at that point in time, in 1999, banks themselves did not know how to internet enable themselves. And the people who ran the core banking, IT part of it, these were big companies who also did not have the ability to quickly master the e-commerce related technologies which were just coming up. So we had a great opportunity here to enter through the outer layer, or at least get the business for the outer layer. But you go to a bank, you go to a healthcare company, and if you don't smell like you understand the domain, you have collectively 5,000 man days of experience in that domain, they won't even touch you. So we went to a bank called the Silicon Valley Bank. The Silicon Valley Bank, located in West Coast, California, basically prided itself as a bank that funds startups. Okay, they enjoy working with startups, and they really they pride themselves as the startups preferred bank. Okay, so there is an affinity. There's a cultural affinity there. To a startup basically means a guy who does not know enough. Okay, that's how you're a startup, right?
Yeah.
So we went to the CIO of the Silicon Valley Bank and a couple of people there that we found some small introduction. And instead of beating our chest on our deep domain capability, we basically said that we don't know anything. Okay. So you surrender. You say, I don't know anything. So why should Silicon Valley Bank give you business if you don't know anything? Okay. So we basically said that we'll learn at our time and our dime. My time, my dime. Okay. But I'll be faithful to you. You are the bank that, with its golden touch has helped so many startups from the startup state to becoming multi-billion-dollar companies. And we want to be adopted by you. We literally use terms like this. And by the way, in every CIO, there's a kind-hearted man or a woman, and sometimes they bring in stray dogs. Okay, so you basically present yourself as this cute stray puppy. And we said our problem is this: we are planning to go IPO in a couple of years' time, and we don't have a single banking customer. We want to be in the financial services domain. Will you please be our angel? Okay. So everybody requires an angel. You'll be surprised that obviously out of 5 people to whom you give this pitch, 3 people will close the door on your face. Okay. One fellow will politely say yes, no, maybe. One fellow surprisingly will say, so here's this tiny pilot I have. Will you be able to, take this and show me if you will be able to solve this problem? This tiny one, because the large suppliers will not touch this problem. So try and solve a tiny problem of a large customer and say that I will do it on my time and my dime, because I want you to love me. Don't go there, don't go there pretending to be an 800-pound gorilla, and don't talk rubbish to them. You go and say, I am the stray puppy. Look cute, be adorable, look vulnerable. So that in every great decision maker, there is an altruistic part, there's a nice part, and they want to do good. They want to take the claim and the credit later on that this guy was a complete nobody when I picked him up. And now look, he's running such a successful company. Don't be shy about areas that you have never tried before. Go get adopted. Okay.
Right.
And you will be very surprised as to how many such things will come your way. Let me give you another very interesting example. When you go and do that and the customer gives you that tiny problem, many of us actually back off, saying, oh, I don't know how to do it. I've never done it before. Okay. So I have this favorite story of mine that, IBM was on the verge of bankruptcy. This is during the days of the Great Depression in the last century. And the founder of IBM was in deep distress. The company was about to file bankruptcy, and he was not going out of home. He was not meeting friends. So at that point in time, his product was what he thought as basically a ledger printing device. So banks needed to print ledgers, and he had made this electromechanical device that was capable of printing ledgers. And the Great Depression was time when banks were closing down. So if banks are closing down, why should they buy ledger printing machines? So in this situation, he was not getting out of home. He's very sad. His wife dragged him forcibly to attend a party. And at that party, he was very gloomy and glum. Seated next to him was a chirpy lady. And said, what do you do? So he was bored and he was unhappy. So he wanted to dismiss the conversation, but broadly describes what he does, that he makes these ledger machines and stuff like that. So this lady said, I really don't understand what this is, but I have a hunch that this may be useful to me. I'm the chief librarian of the New York City, and I have a hard time tracking books. Okay. So this guy, the founder of IBM, jumped up and said, we can do that. Okay. He had no clue, right? So at least it gives you a Monday morning meeting. So open that door, go figure out, reposition, repurpose.
Yeah.
Find out if you can't do it, but you can hire a guy from a competitor organization. You can get a consultant. So when you get the foot in the door, you have to be opportunistic. This IBM guy was opportunistic. Mm-hmm. So you need to be authentic, number one. Okay. Number two, you need to actually let providence present itself. Don't go with a fixated notion. And find out, this is where the entrepreneurship, the innovation, the can-do attitude kicks in.
Definitely. And I think that is where a lot of SMEs struggle, but this is the path that they must adapt to scale up.